Good afternoon. It is May 26, 2026. You're listening to a little column A, little column B, hosted by Will Alimonos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? It finally happened. The Knicks are going to the finals. First time, basically a living memory. 1999, that's a long time ago. That was a whole other century, millennium, all of that. Were you... How surprised are you? Not so much in the micro of this tear they've been going on, because once again we have a preview podcast, and then the next week it's already done. But just you've been around Knicks fans, you've been around the Knicks in general. This always blows up in their face, but now they're here, and I think they got a legitimate shot.
I think they have a very good shot. They feel like a championship team. The chemistry is high, the bench depth is there, the coaching is all matching up. Everybody seems happy. And there's no reason to be upset. They're kicking everyone's ass. There's not much more they could do. If anyone's going to be upset, I think we could talk about Cleveland. We'll get to them. But for right now, the Knicks are going to the finals. They are in a dominant run. I see no other way to say it. Nobody will remember.
11-game win streak. 11 games anytime is impressive. You can start hitting double digits. This isn't the playoffs. This is just prime opportunities. And not only are they on an 11-game win streak, it's been these closeout games. It's been maybe not quite midway through the first quarter, maybe more closer to 3/4 of the way, but it's by the end of the first quarter in these games, of these closeout games, that it's over. It's already 20 points. It's just they're doing exactly what awesome teams and I'm gonna call it adult teams should do. This is the move that the Celtics for the run with the Jays seem to just never do. Of, can we just go out and just destroy them and not have this be it? Just no, we're not going to do that. We're going to lose 2 of these sillily, and then we're going to have to make a heroic effort. Where this is just nope, we're just taking care of this. We are going to rest. The West Conference Finals is tied up, so that's still going to go for a while. The Knicks again are going to have a lot of rest, and the way that the injury report is going in the West, this is going to be a huge help for the Knicks coming in fresh.
It has to be. It has to be an advantage. The other teams, it looks like they're beating up each other so much. They're going to have so many battle wounds, and some guys might not even make it to the finals. And the Knicks are just cruising. Now, the opponents, the quality of them, the effort of them, I think that could be in question. I'm willing to question if we need to fix tanking. Can we fix elimination games against the Knicks? We need better TV. This is awful. They have mercy ruled the last couple of teams into just giving up in an elimination game, more often than not, on their home court. That's like historic dominance of just, they gave up, Zach. This team gave up in the first quarter yesterday.
Not only that, but bringing their fans with them. It was more pronounced in the Sixers game, which makes sense. Philly is much closer than Cleveland, but still, you had Shamet. He was there, front row. I heard there was some issues with some of the other Knicks fans that were told they had courtside seats, and then they were revoked, where I don't even know how you're allowing your super fans, if you're Cleveland, to sell them to Knicks fans. But it was a party. It was another Knicks party on the road.
Another Knicks party. I think they have a legit chance. Do you think they have a chance? Like, are you willing to say?
Yeah. I still think that whoever comes out of the West is going to be favored, but I think the Spurs are on the younger side, and OKC is banged up. Both teams are banged up, but I think that coming in, or if everybody was fresh, there'd be a larger, the West team would be a larger favorite. But I'm trying not to be a prisoner of the moment here, but the Knicks, it's not even. Some guys are playing well on some nights and covering for other ones. It's like they're just in perfect unison, and everybody is playing well. You have Landry Shamet, who just doesn't miss threes anymore. I'm pretty sure if you asked a casual NBA fan a month ago, hey, who does Landry Shamet play for? I think it might have taken a couple guesses before they got to the Knicks. So it's all just smooth sailing for them right now. It seems almost comparable to a hockey team that just has the goalie that is just putting the team on their shoulders, and no one can get past them. But it's the whole team. The whole Knicks team is standing on their head right now.
I think I'm a prisoner to the moment. I think the Knicks are going to win. I really do. They just have that feeling. Like I've seen it. Well, once it's all over and you rewatch everything, it's like, no, they look like a championship team after this amount of games. Like, you could just tell they were focused, they were locked in, they weren't letting any of this stuff get to them. Everybody looks like they know their roles and are happy to do them. Mike Brown is plugging in and pushing the right buttons. You mentioned Shamet. They have figured out a way to get Mikal Bridges not only involved, but he no longer misses. He just makes everything. Karl-Anthony Towns is staying out of foul trouble. He's not settling for threes. The questions that you could still ask is potentially the attacks on the Western Conference might be able to do, and maybe the opponents of these haven't been able to pull off right now. But can someone attack Brunson defensively? Can they shoot with this Knicks team, because they continue to find the right guys and plug in the right guys and shoot threes very consistently? And is there an opponent that could actually get Cat in foul trouble? Those are the weaknesses of this team. I don't think any of the Eastern teams, other than Atlanta in those two games, has successfully done any of that. But if it's that simple, can the West do that?
That was C.J. McCollum going into the Wayback Machine and having a couple of awesome games, able to close it out. And remember, one of those, he missed a free throw that, not Mitchell Robinson, that they almost had a chance that Bridges almost had a chance to win at the buzzer. So they've lost twice, and that was by 1 point apiece. So that their losses are by the smallest of margins, and these wins, these are dominant wins. To what you're saying about what a championship team should look like, none of these wins have been flukes. None of these are, they kind of got lucky here, or an injury here, foul, whatever. It's just, no, they've been going in, and especially in these closeout games there was no doubt. There was no doubt yesterday, like you said. It sure looked like the Cavs. They said, all right, well, we'll start and we'll see. And then immediately what is the fastest way I can get to the Caribbean from here?
All right, one last thing at talking about the Knicks and potentially being the finals. You mentioned the fans. I think it's a clear advantage on the road.
Potentially, they're in the finals.
The fans may not be in the finals. I don't know. We'll see how they travel. They seem to travel continually. Maybe one of these fan bases is going to be able to shut them out some way or another. I'm just saying that potentially. But they're traveling, and I see that as a clear advantage on the road. Is there a chance this home court will be a disadvantage? The pressure, you know how it gets. It builds. There's nervous moments. There was a moment in this series, though, where they were game one down 20, and they reacted, and now that place erupted, and that saved it. But if they lose that game two, oh boy. I'm just saying, it's all an advantage when you're winning. Is there a chance that this could turn on them and become a massive disadvantage? Because we know how hungry they are. We know how that place can get when things are not going their way.
I don't think so, for two reasons. One, them coming into this year, as Knicks fans, maybe they thought that they were contenders, but then kind of as the season went, they were the 3 seed. So I think them making it to the finals it's more of a nice to be here. It was not an expectation. It wasn't for sure we are going to get here. Weren't the 1 seed. So even at the beginning of the playoffs, it's like, all right, we got some work to do. And so, that's the first reason. And the second reason is, like, I don't think there's going to be like this crazy pressure from the fans. You think that they now they're not going to be able to walk away from this?
I think in the past the pressure was they truly knew they didn't deserve to be there, and I don't think they have that feeling in the pit of their stomach this time.
That's really my number 2 is overdid it in these playoffs. And now that they get now they're in the finals, whichever team they're going against, they're going to be the underdog. So it's not, you're not going to have that nervousness that you've seen other teams have of, we are the favorite, we are supposed to win, and all of a sudden we're going to the fourth quarter down 10 points, and the fans are getting restless. It's, well, we weren't even supposed to be here. We're supposed to lose to this. So it's almost like you're playing with house money.
The one advantage I would have said the Knicks had coming into the playoffs is that I like their chances in a close game. They've lost the only 2 close games really this year and made every other game a blowout. So there's all the things I mentioned earlier and question marks of all this that maybe once that game gets I haven't seen that game in so long, though, that am I forgetting it, or is it just not going to happen again?
Well, they had a close game 1 of the Cavs series. They were down a bunch. Could argue they were a little rusty.
42 to like 4 run to end it.
Went on the push.
Not a close game.
No, but it went into overtime.
Yeah, but it ends at like a 42 to 4 run. I'm counting that as a blowout. I understand it was a close game.
It went into overtime.
They won by 12.
But they had to. I'm saying, if you're looking for, can they execute in a close game, that was where they executed in a close game.
That's true. It's very true. But I think you could blame Cleveland for a lot of this, and we might as well talk about them right now. There's a couple things analytically we should really get into.
Oh boy, is that the most loser quote of all time?
No, well, I mean, what is that? What to what degree do you measure that? Like, yeah, it's a dumb quote. I'll give you that. I don't know if it's all time, but it's a dumb one. It doesn't look good today. It definitely doesn't look good. I was more disappointed, and what I thought was more glaring than this analytical nonsense was the lack of effort of getting back on defense. I don't know what you got to do that, Zach, but there's no reason any of these teams in the conference finals can't get back on a made basket.
It was crazy. I think it was the first half, or maybe it was just the start of the second half, and it was something like 24-4 in fast break points. Just how are you giving up this many fast break points?
I was jealous of how easy some of the baskets were for the Knicks and how desperate they were of just trying to get it. To like, let's just get this over with. The Cavs should have been playing like that. It seemed like it was the other way around. I give Mitchell credit. He came out swinging. I didn't think anyone else showed up. I think Simmons gave Mobley a pass. I'm not. I don't. Why does he get a pass?
At what point does a max guy not get a pass? For sure, you have Mitchell, you have Harden, and those are thought of more as the scorer first guys. But when you're a max guy, I don't you don't get a pass. I get he's younger, but he's 24 now. You're not brand new, and you're not on the rookie deal anymore. You're the guy they're paying. You're the guy they're paying. You're the one that has to step up on both ends if you want this team to be successful. This team is super top heavy and super expensive.
They are very expensive. They have some decisions to make. They obviously have to make some sort of financial decisions. They trade Garland for Harden halfway through this season, a move that I think could easily be analyzed, and it will forever be analyzed. I think we're still weighing out how bad or how good or whatever it's going to be. But do you think they would have won a game had they kept Garland?
Maybe game one.
I think they win game one. I think that's fair.
Maybe. I mean, that's kind of a coin flip. I don't think it really changes the series.
Doesn't change the series. I think it was worth doing the trade for that reason at all. What's weird now is everybody's walked away from today saying, we're blowing this up. We can't keep it. It's too expensive. There's no reason to run it back. I understand it was a sweep, but you still got there. Like, I think getting there is still a chance at a swing you want to be proud of and maybe build off of. I don't think this is worth entirely blowing up. I mentioned of how messy all the other Eastern Conference teams are and how that could be an advantage for the Celtics. Why should any other team not look at it the same way? Being like, well, we could make some changes and we could be that team.
You're saying that the Cavs should think of just making some changes, just retooling?
I think they could retool this. Like, you think this?
I think it's partially this year, just how it happened. It was they had a chance in game one, and then afterwards there really wasn't a chance. Then it was over. For sure this last game over. There weren't any. I think everyone's thinking it's going to come out Donovan Mitchell somehow banged up, but wasn't like he didn't play. So you can go back to that. They got worked and they've flamed out in the past. Recently in the past. So I think it's just okay, we made it a little further, but are we really even in the mix, or are we fake in the mix? And right now it seems like they're fake in the mix.
What are they good at? What is Cleveland's strength? Are they good? Are they good at defense? Do they get good shots? Do they play hard?
Well, I think you got the problem too is you have an older James Harden who is getting paid a big salary and he is not going to give you anything in the playoffs.
They feel a little undefined. I'll give you that. I don't know what the direction of this team is. It seems like they should have this core of the past couple of years, and the losses should add up to the point where they would just say enough at some point. But this team continues to just get run over every year. Every year we walk out of the playoffs being like, I don't know why we take this team seriously, and we won't until the playoffs. And here we got to the playoffs again. They get all the way to the conference finals, and we still won't take this team seriously. That's a rough way to go. Maybe you do need to make some changes if we're just walking away from all that. Is there a piece that you would want?
Is Harden on the team next year?
No.
He has a player option for $42 million.
I mean, I think he'll sign it, but I think he's on the move for the sign and trade sort of situation. Or they just let him go.
Because the Cavs want to move him, or because Harden wants to go?
I see no reason why Cleveland should hold on to him other than a trade piece, but If we're going
Well,
to
it's a
trade
player
him,
option, so he has the option.
he can opt in. We can still trade him.
True. Okay. It's pretty expensive.
If he opts out, we don't get anything for him.
That's where I'm thinking. I think the most likely situation is they will most likely kind of look for some sort of run it back situation. They'll have a deal with Harden where he will waive his player option and he'll get a less expensive per year deal, 2 or 3 year deal, and they're going to go about it that way.
What players would you want on this Cleveland roster? What players on this roster are playoff players, really? Because I don't want to be fooled by this regular season stuff. It changes. Who's going to be good in these last couple of weeks?
I think maybe the twin towers of Mobley and Allen. I just don't know if that is the future.
I think overpaying big men could screw up your roster more than anything else. Like unless you're Jokic.
All right, here you go. We'll bring the Celtics back into it because I can't stop doing it. Would you rather have Jarrett Allen for next year? So say it's going to be over the next 3 years at basically $30 million a year, or go and get Keita for about $8 million?
I think the playoff results are very similar, where it's just not good enough.
It's just not good enough. I agree with you, but I also agree with you saying when you're paying these, I'm going to call it more one-dimensional bigs, like how much do you think Robert Williams is going to get in this offseason?
Probably this Jarrett Allen close money, no? What does Jarrett Allen make? He's not max guy, is he?
No, that's what I was saying. He gets 28, 30, and then 32. So it basically averages out to about 30 million per year.
Yeah, I think Time Lord's going to get over 20, probably 25 at least. It depends how many
with the injuries.
I think there's a desperation for free agency for one. All of these teams have cap. Some of them have to spend cap. So he's going to be just the top dog of a really bad free agency, which is going to be a factor of extra desperation. I also think people need big men, and I don't think that's the price range I want to be in. But unless you got, like the guys that are worth the max guys are just so much better than these guys are just slightly under. The Jokic, I'll even throw Embiid in there, Giannis, Wemby. Those guys I think are worth the max, where you could still build a roster around that. But building your roster around Jarrett Allen and Mobley and maxing out the credit card here when you're getting Keita results, it's you got to offer me a lot more. You got to have a higher ceiling. Like I think you got to be at least like Bam. You can score 81 in a game or something. Like they don't have anything close to that. There's no takeover in all this. Mobley's shot has slightly gotten better. I still don't like either of them at the free throw line. They don't take enough free throws between the two of them either. There's a lot of advantages of having these two that they don't really execute well. And it's a consequence of them too. Like they don't do it. They're not very consistent.
The Cavaliers had the highest salary this year at $212 million, and obviously things can change between now and the start of next year, and will change. But as of right now, they are, I believe, second. They're behind OKC, but they'll be at 222 next year as of right now.
Part of their expense is that they're very old. I mean, they signed Strus. They have Merrill. They have Dean Wade. These aren't rookies. None of these guys are on little starter contracts. I mean, Wemby, you don't even realize what he's making right now for what we're getting out of him. They don't have anything. They don't have any young pieces.
That's a rookie deal. So that's not exactly fair.
No, but I'm saying they need a couple rookie deals on this team to get rid of some money.
I agree with you, and I think with the new rules, I think you are going to have to get more creative and more lucky of having the elite guy that makes all of the money, the guys in between that fill out the team, and then you're also going to have to hit on some of these rookies.
I think all of the guys on this Cleveland team would be interesting first round swaps right now. Let's say the 5th pick. Would you rather have the 5th pick or Mobley or Allen?
Okay, up at the top. Okay, because that's interesting. I thought you were going to say the 5th pick or your Dean Wades or your Max Strus.
No.
I was like, this is even close. I'd much rather take a swing on the 5th pick.
No, and it's not necessarily that you're better. It's that we have to get rid of this, and we can't take money back. But I still think he's a pretty good player. So it's the other team might not like any of the guys either. Some of these teams, they want to trade back. This could be a way you could trade back in some way or another. I don't know, I haven't looked at it enough. I'm just saying I think the value of what I would trade these guys for if I was Cleveland, that would be my top priority. I don't think I want another center back. I think I wanted just a younger guy back, right? Like you don't want to swap Mobley for just you don't want to do this for Giannis. Like, do you think if you add Giannis to this team, this is different?
I think that makes things interesting if Giannis is healthy.
Really? All right. So like it was just say it's Mobley and Allen.
I think Giannis on any team makes them makes them better. I think he's older. I think the injuries are a concern, but I think you're gonna have to give up. It's not going to be a swap, and I think that's going to be the issue of you gave up too much, and now you've weakened yourself. That you have Giannis, and if he gets dinged up even a little bit, then you're screwed.
This team doesn't need to spend more. That's the one thing they don't need to do. They could do anything else, right? Bringing in Giannis is spending more money. This team spent the most money this year.
Most likely, yeah. Giannis is number 8 on salaries this year.
Or do you just punt it all and like we're already doing it? What's the difference? It's just tax.
I did see a headline today that said LeBron will not be taking a pay cut to go to Cleveland. So that's off the table.
Yeah, still trade him for Mobley. Some ridiculous trade like that.
I don't know why anybody thinks that LeBron is going to take a massive pay cut.
He's got to find a home. The only reason I'm pitching it. All right. San Antonio Spurs, OKC. Game 5 tonight. By the time you're listening to this, will probably be playing or happening or over by now. We have some injuries. J-Dub is out. AJ Mitchell is out. And there's just an eerie feeling in OKC of problems that they've just naturally solved with the depth of all this that San Antonio just suddenly looks a little bit more comfortable with. But it's tied 2-2. Who do you think, or who do you feel better about?
I think it's still OKC's to lose, but definitely the game on Sunday night. It was disappointing where OKC gets home court back, winning the first game in San Antonio, but they just completely let their foot off the gas here. Where you can get up 3-1, very much be in control, and now they were down basically 10 points in the first quarter, and it didn't balloon up immediately after that. But this really wasn't a competitive game. I was joking with you saying, did OKC punt this? You can't really do that in the playoffs, even if you are OKC, even with the depth. But yeah, I'd say it's still OKC's to lose, but the margins are getting slimmer and slimmer.
OKC has a very good bench. So when Shea doesn't play in the fourth, it looks really bad. It probably shouldn't ever happen. But it's not like the guys that were in there are true bench guys. They're not the end of the bench guys. I think everyone in there is worthy of being in the rotation. So it's not. I don't think it's as waving the white flag as it would look on every other team. And I still think they could show up too. That bench has not shot well. Jay Will, the other Jalen Williams.
McCain's been shooting well.
McCain has been shooting well. He didn't have his.
He had himself a game.
Why does anybody want that guy? This is his home, right? Is he just an OKC guy from here on?
I think so, because as I mentioned, next year OKC has the highest salary, so they are going to be in a similar situation to how the Celtics were. Of we drafted well, we acquired these guys, but now they have continued to improve where we just can't afford it. So you get somebody like McCain in, who probably isn't as good as the guys in front of him, but when you look at the money, it's okay. Well, we were hoping he'll improve, and we can pay him at this money to pair with these other teams or with these other guys that are making the big money.
He's looked great. He's looked like a guy every playoff team wishes they could just add halfway through the season. Perfect addition. Well, what a trade. The guys that don't look so great, because there are guys, and I don't really want to pick on Shea, because Shea's pressure of just being the best player in the series, it's MVP level pressure, and I'm not saying he hasn't lived up to it, but to say he's just got to be better when he's been pretty good anyways is I think asking for a lot. The guys that I truly think can be better, and I think they're getting dragged down a little too much with Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein here. Are they focusing on being too physical and not playing basketball enough? Or are they just outsized to the point where there's not even a point in playing basketball, that we're just going to muck it up and play a dirty game? Because they have not looked good. I don't think either of them has had a good game, in my opinion.
I think they're going to have to continue to kind of muck it up with regards to Wemby, just because there's nobody in the league at the same size that can just all the way match up with them. So I think they're still going to have to, deal with that. But I think that OKC, just on the other side on offense, just also needs to take advantage of, Shea's been doing it all year of getting to the line, playing that way that is successful. I think the Spurs crowd has very much come to play. There's been some loud flopper chants. I saw a Oscar award that someone was holding in the front row. I saw a guy that had come to the game dressed as Shea, where he had bubble wrap all over him and went to go dap somebody up, and then like pretended to fall down. So really great job by the Spurs there. But yeah, I think Shea just needs to rise to the occasion. He's back-to-back MVP. It's supposed to be hard, and this is where I think that he will. I think that he will step up in this now best of three series.
Are you happy Alex Caruso cooled off a little bit there? The little greatest role player of all time headline just kept going around. I don't really have problems with it. I didn't want to give him the crown. This team hasn't even won yet again. Like, what isn't it? Hey, he has to win for it to matter.
I mean, he's won two championships. I wouldn't say that I'm happy that he cooled off, but I mean that was what was going to happen. He's a role player. If you get that out of him, awesome. I mean, same thing with with McCain. Same thing with Landry Shamet. In the East, it's nice when it happens, but you can't rely on that.
There's a different degree of this though. The shooters shoot, man. It doesn't mean you don't have to be doing a heat check to keep shooting. All right, if you're a good shooter, you're just going to shoot. Not taking any shots at a game just means you're not just a shooter, man. Like, he took like 2 shots last game. He took 1 after he hit 5 in the first game. He hit 5 in like the first half. I'm just saying, shooters shoot. If I'm a shooter, there's no way I'm only getting 1 shot off. No way.
You think Caruso not much? I don't know if I'd be. He can shoot, but I don't know if I'd label him a shooter. I mean, he only played 14 minutes.
That's fine, but that after that game 1, that he didn't miss is all I'm saying. Like that's a very big fluke. All right, he's come very much back down to earth, and it's gonna happen. Do we know where Lou Dort is? Have you seen Lou Dort? Is he playing?
He's out there.
Oh, all right.
He's out there.
Just is he like fighting the guy in the crowd that did the flopper thing, or is he? He's playing, right? He's on the court. He's in the game.
He's out there,
and he's guarding. Who is he guarding? I just haven't seen much. I know I'm making fun of this, but really, for a guy that was pretty big part of last year's championship run, and for Jay Will not playing right now, I'd be pretty bummed with Dort's output so far. I think that's another one.
I think either way he's not on the team next year. More financial than the jokes you're making right now.
I think so. I also think when you're playing this sort of level of talent and the other team knows this guy won't shoot, they're just going to find ways to take advantage of that, and that's what they're doing. That's what good teams are doing.
It's the Marcus Smart situation. Even if you're not a good shooter, you have to shoot it. So then you're just naturally, as a defender, you're going to rotate over unless it's very explicitly put of, okay, we're just leaving this guy wide open. The Tony Allen of, we are just completely ignoring you. But if you shoot, if you're going to hit it even occasionally, there at least has to be some respect there.
I still got the Spurs in 7. I'm not altering. I think Wemby, as long as he's playing in the next 3, it's going to be close. It's not going to be easy. We're still going 7. It's not a blowout in any of them. No Knicks walk-offs here. This is going to be a tight game. I wouldn't be shocked by an outcome of OKC winning. I would be shocked if it only went 6. But
are you concerned? Some more things are coming out about Wembanyama, where we knew from last year he went to go visit the monks. Now he's got the nuns showing up to the game. It seems like he's going very spiritual. And then I'm also hearing that blue light glasses starting at 9:00. We've heard some of the other, I call it maybe not extreme because he is a professional athlete, health things that he's doing. Is he too locked in?
I think the results speak for themselves, Zach. You think if he was less locked in, he'd be the same player right now? He thinks it's working. All right, he's not wasting an ounce of potential. Is what I'm getting.
And that's what I'm wondering, though. Does this just wear a guy out?
No, I think he knows what it could be, and he's not going to stop until he gets there. And he hasn't gotten there yet. I know we've all anointed that eventually, it seems inevitable he's going to get it. He doesn't have one yet. Doesn't have a ring. I think until this point, yeah, I'm going to be like crazy about every single second of my day trying to control and maximize every ounce of it. And it delivers on the court. It looks like it. He was the only guy that I think looks tired at the end of the game. And that's not an out of shape thing. It's just like he played hard.
I think he is tired. I mean, we've seen this week. I mean, OKC, especially in that first game, really one and two. I mean, they were being just as physical as possible with them. I mean, very much the old school basketball fan. When you ask him, "Hey, how would you guard Wemby?" Like, "Oh no, like I'd make it really hard for him, and make sure he's got to fight for everything." And like that's what OKC has been doing.
I don't think it's working. They think it's working because they won those games, but I think it's taken away from the game that they want to play as well. It's very distracting if you're just trying to bully and be an enforcer team the other time. It slows down the pace. There's a lot of things that happen with all that. The rotations are different because the new guys that normally come in aren't also enforcers, so there's like a break off from it, and then it's I don't know. Are we just battling Wemby minutes or not? Wemby plays the whole game. What are you going to do? That's
I mean, he can't play the whole game, but I think it is getting closer to almost Jokic in Denver. Of the Spurs have to try to not just win, but is play as even as possible when Wemby has to sit, and OKC on the other side has to just I think should try to speed up the game when Cornette is in for Wembanyama and really take advantage of those brief times.
I believe every player in this series for the next remaining games will get back on defense. There will not be one made basket, Zach, where the other team scores on it. Do you think that's fair? That's not going to happen in this game.
That's ridiculous. I agree, and it's ridiculous. It especially in the playoffs, in the finals, in the conference finals.
I would play Jay Will more. I would play Hartenstein less, or at least I'd let him get his licks in, and then I would just get it over with sooner. I wouldn't leave him out there for that long. 3 fouls in a minute. Just and
I've kind of just assumed that the fouls were gonna be what took him out, and it would just naturally kind of take care of itself.
And Chet, I think there's a legendary game in there. They don't absolutely need it for them to win, but I think he's getting knocked around enough that he's gonna come alive one of these games and just deliver some historic stat line. I imagine. I just feel it coming. I have high expectations for him because right now everyone's a little down on him, and I think rightfully so. You're getting compared to Wemby. This is what you're going to look like, but you're still Chet. I still think there's a game that he can be really good and make some shots and just be a lot more effective. He's never going to pass Wemby though. He's got to come to terms with that. I feel like he seems super bummed with that. Is there a defeated aspect to this already?
I don't know if it's defeated so much as it's just actual. Like just imagine you've gone through. And he's younger, but you go through your career, and then all of a sudden, a guy that like has a similar build to you, but is just taller and just better at everything, just like comes along. But it's just like, well, wait a minute, I was a super skinny guy that played defense. What in the world is this?
It's unreal. It's crazy. I still can't believe it. The half court shot.
Oh man.
Like it looked like the wrong scale. Like it was a miniature, like Hollywood effect or something. Like he looked like a normal jump shot that he just like sidestepped from half court.
Yeah, just easy.
Never seen anyone like this. Nothing like this. All right, who do you like this series? Did you stick with OKC? How many games?
OKC in 6. I'll stick to what I had before. I think that's what I had before.
I want more basketball. It hit me yesterday that this is really fizzling out. We're announcing all these awards.
Now there's not any, or now there will be many off nights. We're gonna have more off nights than on nights.
That's the worst. I missed it already. I really missed it. And then the Knicks had just eliminated so many games, so many nights of East Coast timed games too, not late game. Yeah. Thanks, Knicks.
The games that are on at a convenient time. Yeah. Yes.
All NBA has been announced. There's a first team, a second team, and a third team, and probably a little bit of a conversation on each of them. I don't really have a problem with any of it. If you have problems with the first team, or if you have problems with the exception rule that was granted to Cade Cunningham and Luka Doncic, who technically did not play enough games, but they, I don't know, got permission to or whatever to play less games and still be eligible for all of this. The conversations I'm hearing over around is Jalen Brown could have been and probably should have been first team, and Cade and Luka are in there, and they're a little bit more fringe. It was a close vote. It's not like Jalen wasn't, a couple votes behind, but any beef here? Is this your beef?
I would like to be the biased Celtics fan and say automatic. I thought I don't think that these guys should have gotten the appeal. I think it's, hey, if we're going to have this rule that you have to play so many games, then all these guys are going back and then going, well, this specific one, like I missed this for like a real injury. They're like this. It's like, no, this is kind of the whole thing. You need to be out there to win these awards, but they decided for whatever reason, you guys are close enough. I think this is just going to create more controversy in the future. But of course, this comes out, and who's back on Twitch? Jaylen Brown is back on Twitch saying should have been him, and he's just got like this victim's mentality, talking about how he's so. I think he said something along the lines of like, "I'm surprised I win any awards," because he thinks he's like not very liked. It's like I don't know where he's getting this from. Like clearly he's thought this for a long time, but and maybe because I'm a Celtics fan, but I don't feel like when I talk to other fans that there's a lot of hate for Jaylen Brown beyond him playing for the Celtics.
They didn't like the hair thing.
But that was goofball stuff.
It was goofball stuff. Not basketball related.
Yeah, that's goofball stuff. And so just his whole mindset, and I get it. A lot of players have done this. I mean, it's most famous by Michael Jordan, of him coming up, and he admitted this wasn't real things. He invented ways that he thought opponents slighted him. So of course, Michael Jordan does it. Kobe copied him, and this just trickles down as this. If you really want to be an alpha competitor, you have to copy what these other guys did. So I'm sure there's like an element of that, but just again, just like, Jalen, just go, do your thing, relax, get back in the gym when you want to. But going on Twitch and you're saying like you're surprised you win any awards, like you're winning awards. You were second team All NBA. That's still really good. When they say at the end of your career how many NBA teams you made, they don't really distinguish which ones. They just put it all together, and it seems like it's like this victim's mentality, and that there's this. I mean, like you even kind of mentioned like this conspiracy against him, where it's like, nah, man, you extended your arm all the way. That's an offensive foul. It always has been. It's probably always going to be. It's not some grand conspiracy. Or is the refereeing different in the playoffs versus the regular season? Yeah, probably. And everybody else has adjusted to it. So I guess that could be, the nitpick there. But, three at the top are easy. And I think one of the more interesting pieces is Duren making third team. So his price tag just went up, and he was not so hot in the playoffs. So that is going to be an interesting conversation, because the Pistons are going to say, hey, we don't think you should be getting max money because playoffs.
Are they going to make an appeal?
His agent and Duren and his agent are going to come in and go, hey, we were third team All NBA. You better believe we're getting full. We're getting the full thing here.
They should make an appeals. And maybe he didn't play enough games.
What do you mean?
They should take away some games. He wasn't eligible.
Oh, they should. Oh, like, I don't know. Did he have all the most amount of minutes?
We blew him out that game. He only played 20 minutes. I don't know. He only played the first half. I don't think it should count. Let's get it. He's down to 64 now. Let's no exceptions.
His own team sabotage. Interesting.
Look, the getting them. How do you think the teams felt about it? Like, do you think the teams were psyched to have Cade Cunningham and Luka Doncic make first team? Because it's a complicated situation right now where it's not ideal for Jalen, but it's a little bit more ideal for the Celtics, is it not? Like,
well, the Duren is about to be up for a contract, so this impacts it. Cade, I believe, already made one of these teams, so his contract's already locked in, so that doesn't really move it. I think this is just more going forward. It just sets the precedent that if you miss games or you don't quite make it, that you just appeal and you don't actually have to play the full number of games. If you're close, they'll just kind of wave you in if you have a little bit of an argument.
I still thought it was close, even with the argument. Like, even if, let's just add the 2 games to Cade and let's add the 2 games to Luka. Let's just say they played it. Let's say there's no appeals. The vote is still going to be what it was. I think it's still going to be really close. It's a regular season award. It feels different now with it being announced.
Yeah, and it's hard. Yeah, that's hard to go back.
I didn't like Kevin Durant on the second team. I would have put Maxey on the second team personally. instead of Durant.
Okay, I could.
But that's also a little playoff bias too. But I just thought Maxey was really good. And then the Sixers feel like they were that team in the playoffs the whole season. This whole regular season, they weren't. It was a Maxey team, and it was an edge coach team. Like I felt better about all that than any of the KD stuff. And KD was still good. That also fizzled out because of how I feel about him now too. So a lot of recency bias. Anything else for all NBA?
No. I think that's it.
All right, we got a couple miscellaneous topics here. We're going to do a quick topic on college basketball and some Will Wade recruiting. Is it recruiting or is it drafting or taking guys from the draft? Oh, no, taking players from the NBA. What is it exactly?
So Will Wade coached at LSU pre-COVID, and he got kicked out because he was doing some stuff possibly, under the table. And he was really the first guy that, when they said, "Hey man, like you're cheating, you're breaking the rules, like you can't do that." Most of the coaches before that would go, "Oh, like my bad," and then they'd get fired or suspended or whatever happened. And he was the first one that just kind of went, "No, like I'm not leaving." And that went for a little bit. Then he went away, started at the bottom, worked his way back up, and very quickly is back at LSU, where now NIL deals are all legit. And when he says he's making some strong ass offers, it's no longer illegal. All right, cool. So we've seen this previously. Alabama had a guy that had played in the G League, had been drafted, that came and played. Really didn't have much of an impact. It was a lot more of a spectacle and the legal battle of he was allowed to play, then there was legal stuff, and then he wasn't, and back and forth, and more annoying really than anything else. But Will Wade is taking advantage of the NCAA having some rules, and so he's not breaking any of these rules, but definitely there are people in the college basketball world that are not happy about this. So if I can just go through this, this is their recruiting class for this year. They got Yam Mador. He's an Israeli guard, former EuroLeague player. You have Salayu Niang. He played in Italy's League A. You have Bryce Desert. He's a 6'11" French guy that played in the EuroLeague. We have Marcio Santos. He played for Tel Aviv. So these are, I would say, a step above where, like Duke last year got Demay Sarr to come in once Cedric Coward said he was going to stay in the NBA. And so it can be a little confusing for the casual fan saying, well, wait a minute, this guy's playing for, for these professional teams. And it's, again, for college, like this isn't illegal anymore, but Europe doesn't have college teams like we do. They have these, I guess, like farm systems, if you will. So you are just part of the larger organization. You work your way up, and then you make it on and so even if you're on the, the big team, but these guys, it's a little different, where this is a 25, a 22, a 23, and a 23-year-old. So this is on the later edge at best for college. So that's the international editions. They also got Diabate in the portal from Kentucky. They got RJ Lewis. The Celtics drafted RJ Lewis. He standout St. John's player, flamed out, and then he was playing for the Celtics in the G League last year. And then they got a few more transfers. So I feel like there was one other G League guy, but maybe it was more the professional guys. So I will ask you, do you have a problem with this, even though it's technically not illegal?
Is this just not a habitual line stepper? It's just not Will Wade being like, where's the gray area? I just want to live in it. I just want to soak my feet in it. It's not a toe dip. It's like, I'm going to do this until somebody finds a problem with it. And then we'll just find the next thing someone will find a problem with. I don't like this sort of form of competition. This isn't, if you ain't cheating, you're not trying. We'll see if it works. I suppose I'll have more hands up in the air, controversy sort of emotions if this is effective. In the past, this has not been very effective. I just worry that it's too obvious that it could work. Like, do you think this could work in theory, right? Like, this should work in theory. Just having older guys, maybe if it worked out with other teams and other trainers, that I imagine that helps. But there's also a chance these guys weren't good enough to be in the NBA and ultimately aren't that great at college basketball guys either.
It just goes to this new version of team building. So I think it's easy to boil it down to, well, are you getting international guys or are you getting transfers? What works? And I think what worked last year isn't necessarily what's going to work this year. It has much more to do with, well, do these guys fit together to play basketball? And whether one guy is a transfer, one guy played in the G League, one guy is, a 5-star coming out of high school, you just need guys that are going to play well together.
There's not really other schools could do this as well, right? Like, is that not the argument?
There's nothing illegal about it. Now, what is going to come up is similar to the guy at Alabama last year, R.J. Lewis, fully drafted in the G League. They're going to have to go through some legal hoops for him to play. So it might be that he transferred in and it makes headlines, and then he never sets foot on the actual basketball court. And this is all kind of a moot point. But he might. He might.
I'll worry about it when it happens. I'm all worried about Will Wade when it happens, though. But there is, I understand it's legal now, and then that it doesn't seem like a line step then. But I wouldn't be shocked if there's more going on, and that this is going to be the same thing it always was. Would that shock you?
I love it. I love it. I think more teams should be doing this. Of, hey, grab all of the guys. If you're not good enough to play in the NBA, come play in college. Do you know how many EuroLeague games I watched last year? 0. You know how many college basketball games I watched? A ton. Get these guys in front of me so I can watch them on TV.
All right, did we get it all out for Will Wade?
Sure.
All right, what do we got? We got 10 minutes here. We got some miscellaneous topics. Is there one that sticks out more than another? Which one you got the best take on?
No, they're all equal to me.
Oh, Jesus, that's not good. You're going to make the hosting's hard, All right, let's prediction markets are spoiling reality TV, Zach?
Yes. So this is a issue that's been coming up. So you have Kalshi is one of the big ones, and so they have these prediction markets where you can. It's getting more and more, but you can just gamble, on almost everything, and I think it got really popularized in the last election on kind of looking at that versus the polls and versus what the talking heads were saying, and then you can kind of look and say, hey, where are people putting their money where their mouths is, and not just talking. It's like, okay, here it is right here, and so you can follow, and numbers are just really really easy to follow more than a feeling. But one of the issues that's coming into play is when you're betting on something that happened a while ago. So you have these reality shows, and they're, of course, recorded. It's television. And so whatever the result was, that already happened. We, as the audience, we don't know. But it's show business, and it's like any business. There are a ton of people that do know. So Survivor 50th season last week, really big season. I don't know if it's because of the 50th, but I feel like I heard a lot more about it than I did the other Survivor seasons. Coming into before the show was aired, there was a 98% chance that Aubrey Bracco was going to win. And she did win. Because it's a little bit of like, WWE of this. I guess it's more real, but it already happened. And so it's like almost impossible for it not to leak out. So I'm sure if you were a big fan of Survivor, you didn't want to get spoiled, maybe you stay away from these sites. But it does have to take away a little bit of the magic of already knowing what the outcome is. I mean, imagine if you could just look up tonight and know with like 90 to 95% confidence who's going to win the basketball game. Like, that'd be pretty disappointing, right?
I want you to get me help if I'm betting on a game in which one of the teams has a 98% chance to win, and I want to put money on this. What are we doing? Who's going to gain out of this? I got to put $1 million to make 2 cents, or I got to pick one of the other teams at 2%?
No. So I'm not saying as a way to make money. I'm just saying it takes away the excitement of the event.
Yeah, this seems like a dumb thing. Who's betting on this?
I mean, all sorts of people are betting on all sorts of all of these things.
I think you could remove this from the site, and then, or is that not an option? Can you not control what you can gamble on these things?
Why would Kelsey do that?
Well, why you think this benefits Survivor? You don't think Survivor would be like, we're a better show when this isn't allowed?
I think Survivor would prefer they didn't do it, but Kelsey has no investment in Survivor.
I think there's so many rules that are just not implemented for gambling at this point. Of This is getting closer to like betting the unders on the players that don't play. Like all the scandals.
That's for sure. Is that some of this is it's the people that have the inside information that have the edge, and so then it comes into they have the rules, but like what is considered inside information? Like if you're on the show, okay, that's pretty cut and dry. That's insider information. But what if you're an intern that sat in on a meeting and may have heard something and you put some money down on it? Well, that's a little more of a gray area.
I'm just not into this prediction market nonsense. I wouldn't like. Would you want to be watching Mad Men in the last episode and be like, do you think he's going to jump off a building in the last episode? Like do you? What do you?
I liked talking about it and I like thinking about it, and I like to think I'd be able to be an adult and go, I'm not even going to look it up. But I could see if it was, some sort of a loss situation and they had, 3 outcomes of what was going to happen at the end. And right, before the last episode, you just go to the site and find out, well, this is what's going to happen because it, got leaked out.
Man, leaks are terrible. I feel like we've kind of controlled some of them where you can just stay off of it. And I think spoiler warnings are certainly a little bit more established with a lot of, movie reviews or TV stuff. But this is a major spoiler. That's really what it is.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. Yeah, it's a spoiler.
All right. Anything else for you? We're going to play the music and get out of here. Remind everyone to subscribe. Love column A, love column B. You can follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure you follow Zach on his X account, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
Only a couple games left here, Zach. Are we going to do World Cup stuff? Are you ready? You got a prediction? Is there a team you want to get on the bandwagon with?
America. I'm on America's team.
Oh, all right. The prediction markets aren't good on that one, so maybe
no,
maybe look at something else. Is really what I'm asking. Is there an actual prediction you want to make with a real contender?
I'm really gonna have to. We're coming in. We got 3 weeks out. I'm really gonna have to crunch the numbers on the different pools and where those pools play. I'm to lock in a little bit.
That's fair. Are we going to talk soccer? I don't want to corner you right now, but it's the World Cup.
Did we talk the World Cup 4 years ago?
I assume so. I think it's the same conversation of me pitching this and then being like, it's a really big deal, and you're like, I'm just not into it.
I don't think it's a big deal. It's not a big deal to me.
It's a big deal. Still a big deal.
For who?
The entire world. Everybody but you, pretty much.
Everyone but me. I am the only one. I am the only one that's like, that NFL schedule came out. Let me take a peek at that.
Look,
what's the Wade up to these days?
I'm on the prediction markets right now. They got you at 0% interest. It's really bad. It would be a great car loan, but it's just not going to work.
Oh, hold on. Put me at 1%. 1% because of America. When America's playing, I get behind them, just like at the Olympics.
1% for hot girls in the background. All right, the NBA figured that out. And then World Cup will definitely master that. It'll be international. We'll be able to expand it beyond just whatever was going on in San Antonio.
Well, that could get some more viewers.
It just went up. I think I'm already pitching the market here. It's starting to tilt. We're gonna do a little bit.
We'll see.
We're gonna do a little bit. You did great today with a bunch of summer topics. We didn't get to them. We'll get to more of them next week, and maybe a little soccer talk. Maybe just a little bit. We'll get there. We'll be back.
Little column A, little column B.